You can't put your feet on the mic stands.
I can do whatever I want, mate.
But Burns, you can't.
I can. I'm already dead. So
he's white and middle
the
class.
VideoGamer UK podcast. We're back again. I'm joined by Steve Burns.
Hello.
Who you heard being a prick earlier. Brett Phipps, who's been playing nothing but Bloodborne for how long? A couple of days now? A week?
Yeah, about most part of a week.
We got that quite early, didn't we?
It came in on Wednesday, I think.
You don't tend to get games early these days.
No.
You sort of get them 2 days before it comes out, and the embargo's a week after.
I mean, I did spend the entire weekend playing it. Like, I woke up Saturday, like around 8-ish, started playing it at 10, and then stopped at 7. Then I woke up on Sunday around the same time and played it for 12 hours.
Right, and now you're starting a new Game Plus run.
Yeah. Well, problem is I've got 3 saves on the go. I've got New Game Plus.
Oh, fucking hell.
I've got a guide run and another guide run because of the different ways I'm playing it, because I can't one run where I'm picking everything, all the items up, and there's another save where I can't do that because I need to remember what I've picked up.
We'll get on to
we will get on to
Pillars
that.
of Shaternity later.
Listen, I'm going to laying down some ground rules now. I'm really enjoying the game. It's a fantastic game, and I'm going to talk about it later.
Dude,
and you are going to keep your fucking mouth shut for 5 minutes.
Jim, it's fine if you want to. If you enjoy Pillars of Shaternity,
I'm not having this.
absolutely fine.
I'm not having it at all.
But I know you're in a bit of a honeymoon period with Blair at the moment, but trust me. It's not going to end well. I'm from the future.
Right, okay. We will be joined by Dave Scammell later, but he's a bit busy writing news, I guess.
Yeah. Doing fuck all as usual.
Twitter's not going to write itself, is it?
Totally. I'm going to keep an eye on his Twitter feed as we're recording before.
Oh, yeah, no, there will be at least 5.
I bet it's full of like Photoshops, GIFs, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing. Anyway, right, well... first of all, though, Burns, just to get your stuff out of the way, you've finished Resi Revelations, right?
Yeah, I finished it.
I've heard things about the ending that aren't complimentary.
Yeah, you was mad after you sort of perplexed when you found out.
Not to spoil it, but
no,
I was mad.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't mad. I just didn't like the way in which it turns out there's a choice you can make in episode 3 where the final boss, depending on who you kill the final boss with, you get a completely different ending in episode 4. But really, it doesn't actually make any sense. And I was a little bit like, that's a bit rubs. But overall, Resi Revelations has been a success.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 6 was just fucking terrible, absolutely abysmal. And it was just throw everything in, see what sticks. 3 campaigns, intersecting timelines and campaigns and playthroughs. And actually, the Leon campaign was okay, but the other 2 I thought were trash. Whereas this, it seems they've stripped it back. They've kept the 2 timelines, but what they do really well is across the episodes, because Barry's there 6 months later, you go back through some of the same areas, but they're in different states. Maybe they're in disrepair now, or it's a different season, so you have to use different elements to get in and out of them. And it's quite cool, going over. It's that appeal of like crime procedurals where you see what happens at the start, and then Billy Big Bollocks turns up and goes, "I know what happened here," because you're in the same mindset. I know what I did here. And
Billy Big Bollocks being a very celebrated character in the Resident Evil canon as well.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Billy Big Bollocks, which is always a white middle-aged man with some problems. But he's a genius. He will overcome his various problems via his own innate genius. But in the end, the chief in the CSI NCIS things are always they always get a guy that looks a bit weird. Yeah.
It's like a rule. Like he's surrounded by the most attractive police staff on that they can find.
Each very good at one thing as well.
Yeah,
they have their own unique skill.
No offense to law enforcement, but nobody in law enforcement is that attractive.
No, because
that job takes its toll.
Yeah, it does.
You mean they start like 2 years into the job, and you see them decline?
Oh God, yeah. And you see this, but it's like the guy they've got at the head of it. They're like, well, we have to pay some kind of lip service to the fact that cops look like shit.
Well, yeah. It's a very stressful job being a cop.
It is a very stressful
You know,
job. I mean, that's no disrespect to them at all, but they do look like shit all the time because they have to deal with shit all the
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to I don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Resident Evil. It's I really liked it.
Yeah, I just hope at the very least it teaches people how to do episodic games, because clearly this game was done before episode 1 came out, and then they like weekly releases. Whereas again, we always bring up Telltale, but fuck me.
Well, I have to say, I mean, episodic gaming is. I mean, Telltale set a standard with The Walking Dead.
Yeah, in terms of quality, definitely.
A standard which they themselves are struggling to live up to, frankly. But things like Dreamfall and Life is Strange are doing it really well at the moment as well.
It's just scheduling that's always the issue with these games.
Resi was great because you could every week. I mean, it wasn't great if you were reviewing it, and you know, but every week, you know, as a Resi fan myself, you know, if I wasn't reviewing it and didn't have loads of other like shit going on, and which it may have got in the way of, but as a Resident Evil fan, at £5 a week or whatever, great, like new Resi, and what they did really well, the developers and the staff and the scenario planners, etc., is some of the episodes by themselves aren't really like, they're not great. I never gave any of them higher than 7, but they are enjoyable enough in that they're fairly well plotted. They are, you know, they end when you feel that they should end. They're signposted well. The only one that really felt a bit like filler, and it wasn't filler, but it felt like it was, you know, it was taking a breather episode. They're
getting you to the next point. Yeah.
Was episode 3, because the first and second episodes establish and then build upon what happens, and then the third one, it can't just go bigger and bigger, because where would you go for the fourth one?
Yeah.
So it just has to take a breather, and not. You know, you have that whole thing with Moira, but it felt like not a lot really happens. You're just kind of waiting for episode 4. But I think they've done really well. The team that made it, I think Capcom has been smart, which is, you know, quite rare. And you know, I'm hoping that we get, you know, more Resi, more like that. Hopefully with better production values, though.
Yeah.
Some of it does look like ass.
But that's the thing.
It looks like it was planned for last gen.
Yeah. Even the original Revelations didn't look great because it came out on 3DS.
Yeah.
So there is that thing of probably saying, well, it's the smaller game, which is the Revelation series, and it's episodic, so we're going to really tighten the purse strings just to see how it does, and then go forward and see.
It seems to have got a really good reception from not just critics, but from people I know.
Like Resi fans in general seem to like it, because it's maybe a sign that the series is taking a different direction to, well, being shit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they've had a good start to the year, though, the release of the HD Resi and now this. So
it's good year to be a Resi fan, it seems.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of episodic gaming, I mean, nobody seems to have got the scheduling right apart from Capcom.
Yeah.
Actually, if this does so well, because are they gonna pull an Ubisoft and just make every game the same now? Like, it'll be episodic Mega Man, episodic fucking Dragon's Dogma. That wouldn't work at all.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Can you imagine you run to the end of a wall, it just says coming next week over the other side of a fence?
You just imagine Dragon's Dogma with a plot. I mean, that's...
Right, hold on. Let's go on a massive tangent, because you reminded me, Jim, and I have to say something about it.
What?
So did you watch The Mafia with Trevor McDonald last night?
No.
It's a 2-part documentary about the Mafia being interviewed by Trevor McDonald.
Right.
And I was really getting into it. Each episode's an hour. There's 2 parts. I'm like, okay, I'm really getting into this. Like, these guys are fucking insane, but, you know, McDonald is obviously quite a good interviewer. He's good at getting information from people without it seeming like he's going too far and then closing off, like Louis Theroux does, you know. He's good at coming across as a little bit, well, I mean, he is an old man, but underneath all that, he knows exactly what he's doing. I'm just getting into it. It's like, yeah, come back next week or whatever. I'm like, this is the future now. Why am I waiting?
Yeah.
And that sort, you know, when I'm thinking about episodic stuff, I'm thinking, are we now out of that and into the Netflix style thing? But I think it worked for Resi. It really did, because those episodes, like I say, had structures to them and had, you know, and it had something about them like that. Obviously, both can coexist. But I was just thinking, it just reminded me of last night. I was like, man, I want to see more of this. And I want to see more of it now. Yeah. You know, well, where could I, you know, next week, what could I be doing? I could be dead by next week. Hopefully I will be. Do you know what I mean? Like, there
is that thing of like the difference between TV and games, but if they'd have said coming up next week, but now available to download on the iPlayer, things like that, where they
straight in
combine the two.
Hour 2. You know what I mean?
But with gaming,
But back away from Trevor McDonald now, and back. And imagine a game where you played as Trevor McDonald, like LA Noire. Instead of shouting, you're just pretty genial. You're very pleasant.
You're just quietly interviewing mafia bosses and shit.
And every time you have a dialogue choice, there's always the option to apologise at the bottom as well. There's always a sorry at the bottom.
He's so polite. I know we're talking about Trevor McDonald now, but he's so polite. But underneath, there's a reason he's got this far.
Yeah.
And you can tell as well, like, inside. Presents himself as this doddery old bastard, but inside.
Yeah.
Right, go.
But there is that thing of going back to Resident Evil. As long as you know when the next one is, then you'll keep yourself attached to that series. Like with Tales from the Borderlands and Season 2 of The Walking Dead, the problem that they had with that is that you simply just don't know when you're going to be playing it again. So you don't know whether to commit to the first episode, you don't know whether to wait 3 episodes and then play.
Yeah, that
people
is a problem.
learned from the first
I don't
Walking
play
Dead.
any of those games, to be honest with you. I just... Because why... What?
See, the Game of Thrones, like that game is made for me. Like I'm obsessed with Game of Thrones. Love Telltale games, and that should be the perfect fucking Venn diagram.
Yeah,
crossover.
exactly.
I should be lapping that shit up. Played the first episode, and I got to the end of it, and honestly, I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah. See, this is the problem: is if you do have that reaction after the first one, then you've got 3 months before the next one, and you don't know when
the next episode's coming out.
Exactly.
Don't really feel that invested because it is meant to be sort of a sub-continuity to the TV show. They can't actually do anything. Like they can't do anything significant in the continuity. Everything they're doing is basically rehashing stuff that other characters have gone through in the main series. So it felt secondary, and it felt, I don't know, I liked it. Like that first day that it came out, I did enjoy it for what it was. But the more I thought about it afterwards, the more I was like, it's the most fucking pointless thing.
Yeah. It's the C plot, the one that just is done to fill 5 minutes between the main stuff.
Yeah,
and you just don't want to watch.
It's the kind of shit you would have got from, like, remember that in between sort of 2005, 2010, there was a trend for big TV shows to have fucking webisodes between seasons.
Yeah,
it was like 2-minute fucking vignettes of fuck all happening.
Or 24 the game. Or The Shield the game. Or Enter the Matrix.
Prison Break the game.
Prison Break the conspiracy.
Why did all those games have terrible run animations?
Because run animations are fucking hard. I mean, look at Tom Cruise. He has a terrible run animation in real life, and he's always doing it.
His arms come up so high as well.
Yeah, they do, don't they? He runs like Cole Phelps in LA Noire.
Yeah, he really does. And when he turns like you're on a motorbike. You know, when you lean into the corner.
I wish you could have seen how Burns just demonstrated that.
They really do, though. It's like MotoGP running. They just proper turn into the corner.
Nico Bellic lean.
Exactly.
The way Burns just mimed that run was like somebody trying to sit down who'd never seen a chair before. Just fucking legs and arms everywhere. Am I doing it right?
Like a kid who refuses to get back in the pram. It's like, nope.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Don't want to do it.
No, it's me.
It's your motto for life.
Yeah.
Don't want to get back.
But yeah, Life is Strange episode 2 is out, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
when are you going to fucking play it?
I'm going to play it very soon.
All right.
But I can't because, and this is a good link actually, because I'm playing Pillars of Eternity.
Here we go.
And I want to get this out of the way.
Right, so I genuinely don't know anything about this game.
We will talk about Bloodborne in a minute, by the way, for those at home. We're not forgetting. We're just saving that for last, I think. But, right. Pillars of Eternity, right, is Obsidian's crowdfunded project to basically revive the old Infinity Engine style games,
right?
So Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, that kind of thing. So it's like isometric 2D. The sort of massive worlds to explore and sort of RPG systems that are based on Dungeons and Dragons and all very nerdy stuff. I never really got on that well with Baldur's Gate, has to be said. I mean, I liked the start of it, but I always found out you get bogged down, you end up in areas that you can't get through because you're too low level, or can't be bothered grinding or whatever.
That's why I got bored with Diablo as well. It was just too much going, like too much of nothing happening.
there's probably people shouting at the moment, Baldur's Gate wasn't that hard. Well, I just got bored with it.
Yeah.
And I got the iPad version, actually, so maybe that's why.
Fucked it.
Too much tapping.
Yeah, totally. But
Don't
like
happen.
knowing like the style of game that it's supposed to be, and it's basically supposed to be a modern update to Baldur's Gate, essentially. Completely different universe, different licenses and everything. But so this is Obsidian's original, original fantasy universe, and it's all very kind of. And I remember starting off, and they've supplied some literature with the game, which we're not allowed to like read directly from, but. Essentially, it was explaining the world. Oh, it's David Scammell.
Hello. There he is.
How you doing?
Hello, David.
Talking about Pillars of Eternity, Dave. Sit down. Pull up a chair.
We'll go away for a bit then. That's no good. Well, it might be good, but it's no good to me.
It is quite good.
It's terrible, Dave.
Really?
Burns.
Come
Anyway,
on now.
Burns. I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking twat you off a cliff.
I will let you. I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish, and then I've just got some pertinent questions
I
regarding.
was about to say, don't let this turn into a
That's
question
fine.
time. Let it.
So
No, I was going to say I've heard a lot of hype about this game though.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, from idiots.
Excuse me. I'm not an idiot.
Well,
Andy Kelly's not an idiot. I'm assuming those are the people.
markers, yeah.
So, can't even remember what I was talking
Sorry,
So,
I feel
yeah,
so
no,
rude bursting in here. I've been very
Yeah,
busy.
Dave, you have been rude today, haven't
Yeah,
you?
carry on. I mean, don't just forget I'm here.
about. I can't forget you're here, Dave.
You're here, Dave.
Jim.
You fill the room.
Dave, big tasty lad. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm just almost. Could you Jim there, Burns?
Absolute prick.
Jim, you should come with us.
Absolute fucking pricks.
Big tasty cream egg McFlurry sorted.
Speaking of things from the past that aren't as good as people reckon, McDonald's.
Right, back to Pillars of Eternity.
Jim,
the
right.
combat.
the pillars are strong.
Right.
with
The
this
combat,
one.
this is what I was wondering. What is, because I haven't seen any of it. Is it like Diablo in the sense of you've got your attacks on the bottom of the screen and you move around, you've got your basic,
Sort of. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. It's real time pause combat, right? And
Like the
it's,
Dragon Age type, where you
Sort
can,
of,
right,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I mean, Dragon Age itself was meant to be a modern update to Baldur's Gate.
Right, okay.
So this is essentially Obsidian's take on doing that, but keeping the art style, keeping the format of it essentially.
What you said, this game's huge as well.
It is fucking enormous.
Yeah.
It is like if you're talking about bang for buck, and I know people put a lot of stock into the hours of gameplay statistics.
Yeah.
Which they shouldn't, frankly.
Bit out of order.
Exactly.
They really shouldn't. But there's a lot of game here. It takes about 15 hours to reach the sort of the watershed moment where the game actually, where you have access to all the features of the game.
Yeah, I was about to- all the
and
mechanics are there.
Yeah.
Have
So-
I installed the Bloodborne chat?
No.
Oh,
Dave,
good.
it's coming in.
We've been saving that for you to be here.
Oh,
Dave.
because I wanted to talk a bit about what you were just saying, but with Bloodborne.
Right, but
So
hold
don't
on. Let
forget.
me ask these questions though, and then we can move on.
Well,
Right.
no, I haven't finished, Burns.
Right. What have you been
Before you had a
playing?
ream.
What have you been playing
Fucking
on?
calm yourself.
What have you been playing it on?
We played it on
Have
PC.
you been
It's
playing-
only on PC.
Have you been playing it on a?
This is
do
going to
you-
be a joke about a 1995 graphics card, isn't it?
No.
You've already done these jokes on Twitter, Burns.
Yeah, but would you say
This is like a retweet.
No, it's
This-
not
this
about
is-
any of that. I have not said this before, but is it Sound
You can
Blaster
storify it
compatible?
later if you want.
Storify.
When you bought it from Electronics Boutique,
I bought a Dreamcast keyboard. From
have you got a
Electronic
10-day
Board.
money-back
Yeah,
guarantee? Does that not still apply on PC games?
He couldn't get to the end of the joke without pissing himself.
He's been planning that for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He's sitting there
Saved it as a
fucking-
draft in his
Sitting there
phone.
fucking giggling away at his own shitty joke
Yeah.
about Electronics Boutique that he's already basically done on Twitter an hour earlier.
Yes, I'm a British comedian. What's the problem here? I'll be at the Apollo soon. All right, carry on.
But anyway, that
Yeah.
aside, the combat's it's tactical. You got a bunch of different classes. I mean, essentially, you've got like various different forms of fighter, various different forms of ranged, and various different forms of magic.
Have you got a squad?
So yeah,
Right, okay.
So you got 6 slots in your party. Some of them, obviously, you can summon creatures. Some of them have like a wolf, or one of my characters had a lion for a while as a companion or whatever. So, but it is quite good because they all do very distinct things, and
Yeah.
you can obviously just select all and mob one enemy, and that might work if you're fighting one troll or whatever.
Yeah.
But generally, you do have to try and be smart about it.
Are
And,
they
you know,
intelligent enough though to look after themselves? Or
When
do you
you're
have
fighting
to,
one troll, you're fighting them all, Jim.
This, they, to an extent, they are.
Right.
But if you just let them get on with it, they will be fucked.
Right,
You've
okay,
got
yeah.
to really make sure that they've got things like you've got like support characters like the chanters who.
They're like the buff characters, right? I imagine.
Yeah. So they stand at the back. They're not at the front line. They're terrible with a weapon, but so they sing this, and you don't hear it, thankfully, mercifully.
Yeah.
But the lore is that they sing these chants that you can put together. Like
Right.
you can edit everything in this game. It's amazing.
Like worms.
Various different verses of their songs, like add different buffs.
Yeah. Like worms.
So they can be at the back, making sure that the damage reduction is fortified, and it increases your chances of criticals and whatever.
But you can choose what they are that they do. Yeah,
exactly.
Sounds shite, mate.
And then
Shite.
you've got your priest characters, which tend to be all about area effect spells, again for buffs, but also for more sort of offensive stuff as well. Particularly like area effect stuff that will make all of your make it all the enemies in an area like fall over. So,
Right. Okay.
and it is. I actually found it really quite funny. It's like when you knock an enemy down and then get everyone to start kicking the fuck out of them.
Like a football factory
yeah,
style.
Yeah, totally. It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And then you got your wizards who are all about the direct
You're a wizard,
spells,
Harry.
the direct attacks and everything.
That can fuck off as well.
So every sort of category, your fighter, ranged, magical,
Clearly defined.
They all have like very clearly defined roles. You don't have space to have everything in there, so you've got to pick and choose. You've got to develop your own strategies and stuff like that. The combat is actually like really, really, really in depth.
I'm
really
interested
good.
in this.
Yeah, I hear you use the mouse to do it.
I will fucking I'm not kidding, Burns. Actually, I'm kidding. But no, it is really good, and I've got into it in a way that I've never really got into a game like this.
So I'm surprised because how long you said you've been playing it for is on the fact that this has the staying power to keep you in, especially with only the full mechanics of the game.
I am also being paid to do it.
Exactly.
No, but seriously, I started off the other night thinking it was like near bedtime, and I was like, right, I'll probably put a couple of hours in just to get it started, then I'll go to bed. And then like 6 hours later, right, okay.
When
I had
do you
this with
sleep?
Bloodborne
I
as
don't
well.
understand how you can.
I don't sleep.
Why?
This is part of my problem. I don't sleep.
Although every.
When I do actually go to bed, do you know what I do, Burns? I read about fucking Henry VIII.
Is that my fault?
That's what I'm doing now.
Is that because of me?
No, it's partly your fault.
I dream of us playing singles, Jim. Ever since that moment we shared.
We need to do that again. I've got
My self-service
I've got
fodder.
friends.
Is that that's what you do before you go to bed? You dream of self-service.
I've got friends in Manchester, Dave and Abby, who are like very. I very rarely see. I don't think I've ever seen them say anything vulgar. And they were talking the other day about watching us on singles and how that like neither of them could stop laughing. Like they had that hurting chest laugh that we were having.
Everyone loves a
when
wank
the guy
joke.
started wanking, and it's universal. You see a little computer person having a wank in a bed, and you just can't.
Oh yeah.
It is like the universal language of.
We have to continue. We can't end on a wank.
Fucking
He
world
has to
peace.
Self-service is the key to world
That is the
peace.
secret to ending all wars. Just erect giant screens where you show that clip.
Yeah.
And
guys, look, we can't take this seriously anymore. Look at the screen.
The thing is, I knew exactly what was going to happen. I was still wetting myself when I watched that video back. It's so funny, Jim. We've got to get him, we've got to engage in a relationship with someone.
We are thinking about doing a series. Would anyone like to see that?
Yeah.
I mean, not fucking.
Are you talking
not
to us, or-
Not you pricks. No.
I didn't even answer. I was going to
Loads of
say
people
no.
have
I mean, the
Loads of people
listeners.
have asked.
The listeners.
Let's record it this afternoon.
All right.
I won't even care. I'm making that decision. I'm not even the video
I want
guy.
to see you
Dave.
get hitched in that game.
I'm not sure that it has legs as a series.
No, I'm not
That
saying
is-
this is here. We definitely have to do another one.
But
100%.
if you want to see it, if you want to see if we can get the guy into bed with somebody,
Can you get married in that game?
No.
What's the name of the fucking game?
Singles 2 Triple Trouble.
But I think that
so it doesn't really scream marriage, does it?
I think
Yeah, but if you can, the whole point is that getting a relationship, then I assume that you could, progress. And I was wondering what the
I
end
think
game
you fundamentally misunderstood.
I think Singles
the
2 is
end game?
equivalent of I think the end game is to do it up the bum.
Dead.
final boss.
Do you know what they should do across? They should bring that series back. Singles 3, The Tudors. That's what we should do.
I'm in a playful mood today, Jim. We should do it. I'm well up for it.
Oh, fucked it. No, it's all right. I've not fucked it.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Can you fucking set in the Tudor court?
Yeah.
The Duke of Norfolk comes to visit you.
Who the fuck is the Duke of Norfolk?
The Duke of Norfolk comes to
Because I
visit
bought
you.
him that book.
The Duke of Norfolk brings bad news. Your wife's been cheating on you. What do? Have her beheaded. That could seriously work as a game. Anyway, two worlds are crossing over now.
That sounds terrible.
It's so deep in the
Should we
Matrix.
talk about Bloodborne?
I haven't finished talking about Pillar of Eternity yet.
No, Jim. No one cares.
Listen. They're the two biggest games this week, right?
Yeah.
Bloodborne and Pillars of Eternity.
Borderlands, mate.
PC gamers don't have access to Bloodborne, I'm afraid, because if you will limit your
Is that because it's still 1998 where they are?
if you will limit your gaming to one machine, then not only are you a bit of a twat.
But take that, PC people.
Wow.
I've got a really good
that seems a bit
PC.
harsh.
So
or there could be like perfectly legitimate reasons, but there are people out there who will limit their gaming to the PC for ideological reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Those people specifically.
I nearly bought. I nearly bought another Xbox One over the weekend. Can you believe
fucking
it?
ridiculous.
What for?
Well,
Another one.
I'm worried that my last one is up shit's creek. It's on its way out, but until
You're worried, but it hasn't broke. Right?
Well, no, exactly. And I mean that.
Do you have a
frame of mind
PS4?
Yeah.
Do you have a PC?
Yeah.
Don't you have an Xbox One?
the Xbox One is garbage as well. It really is garbage. Like, it's fucking trash, man. Like, why would you buy
just
one?
like
let
to
alone
remind
two?
everyone that the
He was going to buy 3.
opinions expressed by the individuals in this room do not represent the company.
Yeah, I
Carry
have
on.
previously bought. two.
Honestly,
No,
it's
didn't you
such
say
a
you
fall
wanted to
from
get
grace.
one for the living room as well,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
as a
did,
Blu-ray
yeah.
player
Yeah.
and a Netflix streaming box?
Yeah.
Fair enough, mate. Spend your money on whatever, but
But you could
might as well
buy a
just flush
Blu-ray
it down
player
the toilet.
and an Apple TV for less than the cost of an Xbox One.
I've got the disk drive problem that plagued launch consoles and has only just reared its head in my console.
Can you imagine, though, how devastated you'd be if Quantum Break comes out and you can't play it?
There's plenty of good games coming out on Xbox One this year.
Go on.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, Forza Motorsport 6,
Forza Motorsport 6.
Halo 5.
Those games are for fucking idiots. Okay?
Look who you're talking to. We are
Oh,
professional idiots.
Burns, I'm looking forward to Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Sounds like
And Forza.
some shit you'd see on that Movies 24 channel. It's Tomb Raider. That fucking Tomb Raider reboot is fucking rubs as well. Everyone's
What, last year?
Everyone's like,
I love that Tomb Raider reboot.
Everyone's
I'm
like-
really looking forward to Rise
Everyone's
of
like,
the
it's
Tomb Raider.
really good. It's all about
Burns, why are you
survival.
being a knob?
You kill a man and then you
Again,
kill
look who you're talking
200
to.
other men. Shit.
Nah, it was good, Burns.
I gave
What
up
are
on
you
it.
talking
Gave up on it about 4 hours in and just went, you know what? Fuck all this.
Nah, it's good.
I would rather play Icewind Dale.
He's gone full turn, full swing. He's gone heel.
Exactly.
He's gone double heel.
No one knows which way I've gone in the moment.
Yeah.
Anyway, I
it's
didn't
that
buy
bit at the
one.
end of the wrestling where you think, oh fuck, where's he going? He's looked at the camera, he's done a wink. What's he done?
That wasn't a heel turn. That was just
like a
that was
double
just-
heel
that
turn.
was just a cunt turn.
They're not mutually exclusive. And I'll have you know, Jim, that I found that very offensive. No, I wasn't a fan.
Did you say Pillars of Eternity is out this week?
You what, sorry?
Did you say Pillars is out this week?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
You should do a spoof called Millers of
I
Eternity.
don't know when games come out because people just give them to me now.
Millers of Eternity, where Miller has to sit around
Millers
playing,
of Eternity.
Yeah.
playing the game and just wondering which. No, he
Miller-
has to play the game
Miller
and you have to
loves-
find out what year it is.
Miller loves RP. Fucking hell.
We kidnap Miller, we put him in a nondescript room for like years, and then he has to play it and try and work out which year he's in. And if he says anything like in the 90s or early 2000s, well, he's right.
How? But even if we do kidnap him and keep him isolated from society for years and years and years, at no point is he going to suspect that it is the 90s
past.
again.
You could never keep the
Yeah, but
villa
the thing
locked
is,
up.
you don't know.
No,
you don't know
just
how.
smash through.
You don't know how people will respond.
Well, I
Like the Hulk.
I don't know what the motives of the criminals who kidnapped me are, but I'm pretty sure they might have time travel.
Well, that sounds just like some more Marvel bullshit, though. Don't get me started on the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Bloodborne.
Just so you know, for anyone who's listening to this, obviously you can't see what's in it. Burns does have a checklist in his hand that he's just working through to get
pretty
mad
much.
about.
This is. It's not even like there's no thought into this today whatsoever. This is just off the shelf fucking Burns bullshit.
It's great.
I wasn't in yesterday, so he's obviously missing me.
I just love winding people up. Okay, I don't I don't need to write anything anymore because I did bug you like mother care. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
It's going to be on his gravestone.
Yeah,
isn't
so
it?
I've just gone full Roy Keane. I'm just in the studio now, just talking a load of bollocks just to wind people up.
Next time you see him, he's grabbed that full beard as well.
I wish, mate.
The angry beard.
I'm going to get the beard done on the NHS, isn't it?
NHS beard.
You can get it done.
You can get a beard transplant on the NHS.
Wow, you can definitely get a beard transplant. I'm thinking about going down Harley Street and getting it checked out.
What do they do? Do they transplant or do they put plugs in?
No, they take hair from the back of your head and they put it in your face.
So you just bald at the back?
Well, no, that hair grows back.
Hair from the
Right.
back of your head.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be this.
That's what I was thinking. The textures, it's all different.
So you'll have like waving fucking locks of hair coming from your face.
You know what you're going to have? You're going to have the Rooney problem where he's got all the hair here, but he's gone bald everywhere else. So he's got hair at the front. As soon as he looks down, he's just bald beyond back.
Yeah, it's going to cost. So it's going to cost me money. It's going to cost me as much as I pay for my actual haircut to get my beard cut, and it'll just be financially.
Why don't you just let your hair grow long? Just comb it like the Bobby Charlton, but really weird, where you just comb
good
it
old
down
Bobby.
to your beard.
Just
Good
get a
old Bobby.
fucking marker pen, mate.
Yeah. Well, like the eyebrow thing where they just draw those on.
Yeah, I'll just get it tattooed in.
Just go for like full barley. Just like actually paint a beard on with model paint, and then tell people it's a fucking fashion thing.
Or like
Exactly.
those Play-Doh ones where you push the head down and the beard grows. So just do that. Just,
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. Anyway,
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne. We
Yes.
want to talk about Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Brett.
Yeah.
Right. I've actually got some questions about Bloodborne.
Have you?
From
Do you want to go through those now?
the audience?
Okay.
Um,
I do love Bloodborne.
I
but for
didn't
anyone
know
who
whether to
hasn't seen-
keep some of these for the end, but we have actually. Got
So we haven't
quite
said
a few
anything
to
about Bloodborne yet on this
No,
podcast.
Dave. We
No,
were
we
waiting
haven't.
for
This is
You're
you.
waiting for me. This is
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wonderful.
Dave, big taste of those. So excited.
Oh, I'm more excited for that than Bloodborne.
Well, I expected that. What is it you wanted to say?
Right. You listen.
Like, while Jim's looking for questions, what was you want to say about Bloodborne?
I want to say a few things.
Yeah. But I
Because
mean,
that's what I do on a podcast sometimes. Burns giving the eye.
Say things. Say words.
Bloodborne,
Yep.
as people know, I've never really been the Dark Souls guy. Do you know what I mean? I've been that guy that doesn't...
you're singles
never
for up your life
clicked.
guy.
Huh?
You're singles for up your life guy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Like, I appreciate Dark Souls. I appreciate the appeal of it. You know, I know why people like it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've never been one really to fall into that trap.
Mm-hmm.
Is Bloodborne any different?
Well, it's sort of asking too quick. The Bloodborne will not
No.
do anything to
I'm not
win you.
ask- right. The
Well, no,
reason I
Bloodborne
ask
will not
is
do
'cause-
anything to win you over if you didn't like Dark Souls. But it is a different game. So
Well,
that's
I've been
where I'm
hearing.
interested
I've been
in.
hearing differently.
See, I've
Brett,
got- I've-
because people are saying now the combat's a bit quicker. They can finally get into it without having to just turtle all the time and poke out from behind the shield.
Yeah, but the thing it's still. At its core, it's a Souls game, so I think if Dave's not got on with the Souls
That's
series
fine.
in the past,
no,
you know,
No,
Well, it depends which
do
element you
define-
haven't
how
got
do you
on with.
define a Souls game?
well, it's basic combat of run,
Shite.
die, respawn, repeat, get better. It's that you
I'm
still
fine
go
with
over
that.
very tough.
I'm fine with that.
So what is it
I
about?
like Infinity Blade. That's fine with me.
So what was it in the Souls one that you
Shite.
didn't?
I always felt it was a bit clunky, and I know people.
Oh, right,
people will
okay.
come at me for saying
Then you
that.
might
They'll be
well
like, "Oh, you need to learn the combat better."
No,
It's
that's
not
fair. But you might well enjoy this one then, because like Burn said, the combat is much faster. There is no block anymore. You've got to stay involved at all times because there's
You got a gun now, bro.
a dodge. One thing they've changed is, I was saying to Burns, that when you lock on to an enemy, rather than roll out the way when you want to, dodge, you pivot around them, so you're always close enough to hit them. And enemies are much smarter as well. They will, especially the higher level ones, they will back away from you. They will counter, and it is a lot faster. And it is a lot better in that regard.
I'll tell you what I'm amazed at. Why there are not more Souls-like games, but that use different mechanics. Like a God of War or a Rise type game that has that you will die all the time and you will level up all the time.
Yeah, because even Lords of the
and you will
Fallen
be punished,
was that.
but with more sort of traditional mechanics that most gamers would be used to.
Who would make that? Do you think that's the question? Who would make that game?
I can see a God of War where Kratos is constantly getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and like losing to the gods and all that shite, and then but take on Zeus.
That's
just like God of War 2.
That's the aesthetic, but mechanically, what developers do you think could make a game like what From Software does? That's the problem.
I don't see why any other developer couldn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
Surely, like a Souls-like game, forgetting how world mechanics work. Like the basic idea of it is you die, you gain XP, you level up.
But it's the thing of keeping people coming back.
Yeah, but they do make it. It's called Call of Duty.
No, exactly, totally.
Yeah,
totally,
that's
totally.
true. Yeah,
but why is like that? But in a single player experience.
Yeah, it's called.
Yeah.
It's called Dark Souls.
Called Call of Duty.
No, but it's not though, is it?
You mean Call of Duty on veteran?
Call of Duty campaign is totally different in terms of progression. It's totally different to
just yanking your crank.
Right, this is getting silly now. Right.
No, it's not. This is a legit discussion.
Yeah, Jim. Just because you're fucking just stepped out of the election, fucking listening to D-Ream, fucking
D-Ream. What a pull that was, D-Ream. Do you want to do the questions now, or do you want to?
No, I don't.
Well, the reason I was asking is because
Jim's out. He just wants to go home.
I just want to go home now. I want to go back to bed. It was a fucking mistake. It was a mistake getting out of bed. Frankly, it was a mistake coming down from the fucking trees. Anyway. sorry, Dave. Carry on.
I'm tempted by Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Because of all the discussion around it, because of all the hype, I guess.
I think you'd like it, Dave.
Yeah.
But even though I've given Dark Souls and Dark Souls 2 a try, and after a few hours, I'm like, I don't know if this is for me. Like at Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls, I put quite a bit of time into. The second one, not so much, because I thought it's much more of the same, and I didn't really get on with that last time around. So
I felt the same. I still really enjoy playing Dark Souls 2, but I can see every issue that there is with it in terms of, like you say, there is just simply more of the, and they seem to misunderstand the Dark Souls thing because it was different in terms of they repeated certain bosses as a means of, oh, you remember this guy? Here's 3 of them, and it was very frustrating in that regard.
Don't think I even got to a boss in Dark Souls 2.
Oh, really?
That's how shy I am at it.
But this is the thing, is that it does, all those games, they force you to persist because you will get better. You can't not improve, but it does take time.
I'm well up for a game that has that pull. That has that mechanic of repeat.
No, Dave, you're going to like this one because it's got
live,
a gun.
die, repeat. Live, die, repeat.
Yeah,
I'm up for that.
Yeah.
Like the film.
This one's got guns, Dave.
Dave, this one's got a gun and no shields. Well, it's got a shield, but the shield's almost a joke, apparently.
Yeah, it's not.
So I read your review yesterday, Brett.
Yeah.
And obviously I made it a lot better. But no, it was a good review, actually. And one of the things that really stood out for me, which I haven't seen anywhere else in like a lot of the reviews, is you talk about the game world. Now, the game world's so celebrated in the Souls franchise.
Yeah.
But the way you described, instead of like almost pushing on to the bonfires, but pushing out and making like a spider's web of routes and trajectories, essentially, to get back to the lamps, which they are now, to safety. Rather than pushing on, you're coming back or finding other ways to get in and out. I thought that was really, really interesting. I think a lot of people who maybe didn't get on with Dark Souls in that regard, it's, you get those things like the breadcrumbs now. There's the coins
the
or whatever.
shining coins, yeah.
It feels like a lot of it has. They're thinking about, okay, what are the elements that you don't like, Dave, or you just don't get on with?
But it's still not Dark Souls for the mainstream, right? It's
I wouldn't say so, because
like you said, it gives you breadcrumbs to hook you in, maybe more so than you might have been before. But
because like Bern's saying, one of the things that when you're playing Dark Souls is you're definitely, the longer you spend in the game without resting, you feel that risk because you're getting more souls and you're worried, think, oh God, where is the next bonfire? That's what you're doing. You're desperately searching for that next safe zone. Whereas this one, it took me a while to adjust to it because, again, coming from Soul series and learning what Bloodborne was about, all I was doing once I realised what the game was trying to get me to do was trying to find all the possible routes back to a single bonfire. A lamp. See what I mean? So there's surrounding any single lamp, there will be a series of paths that when you first get there are blocked off. It will say this door doesn't open from this side, locked by a device.
Like Resi?
Like
It is Resident Evil 4.
So yeah, and then you'll go off and you'll go one way, and suddenly you think, oh, this looks familiar, and you'll come back and you think, oh, there's the lamp, I've opened this door. So what will happen is you'll spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes following a route, and you'll end up back where you started. But what that does is it'll then, when you go the alternate path, there'll be another way leading towards a boss or whatever. Like, for example, in one of the buildings, on your way to this boss, there are a series of lifts that, when you first see them, it says this device isn't operable, because once you get to the next floor, the lift's there. You have to step into it to bring it down to where you originally
Classic
were.
video games, that, innit?
So
just take the stairs.
Like that's what. But yeah, it's
Call
the
an
amount of
engineer.
enemies you do. But it's that thing of making routes back for yourself, so you can always get back to safety. But it's not about pushing to the next next safe zone. It's always bringing you home. I said to you, it was a really stupid comparison, but it's like when you was a kid and you play 40-40 home. You got one home place, but all the possible ways to get there. You know, it's that mechanic rather than, okay, I'm going to keep going forward and eventually I must come across a bonfire. I mean, there are a lot of lamps in each place, but sometimes you will only have the one before you get to another boss. The boss will be the next place you find a lamp.
Like the save rooms in Resi, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited about Bloodborne. Did you hear what happened last night, Jim?
No.
I fucked it, didn't I?
How'd you fuck it? What's happened?
Well, do you remember in ye olden days that the old PS2 debugs used to have, it had PS2. Well, I'm talking about the fat one, like the Darth Vader toaster PS2.
Yeah.
It used to say PS2 on the front of those big letters.
Yeah.
The test ones said test, like emblazoned.
Even the PS3s as well.
So you couldn't mistake those at a glance. Say if your bus was coming earlier than it said on your little app, and you had to just grab the machine. On the PS3, it says test under the PlayStation 3 bit on the front of the machine. On the PlayStation 4, it doesn't say test anywhere, apart from there's a tiny little extra bit of plastic on the back of the machine. So imagine my frustration when I get home yesterday, like, right, I'm going to play some Bloodborne, pull the machine out, oh, come on. Like, I'm trying everything to make it work. I changed the debug environment, because I was logged in as one of your accounts. And so I put the disc in, it's like, recognize the disc, like, okay, I've changed the environment, let's do this. It goes, oh, you've got to update this to the next firmware.
Debugs are a nightmare.
Oh.
You always see people, like when I was first getting started in this industry, everyone was like, oh, I want a debug. But it was like this sort of status thing. If you had a debug, you were going somewhere. And really, debugs are just the biggest pain in the arse you'll ever know. Like,
oh, you need the new firmware, you better call someone. What? It's the future now. Although you can do loads of cool shit with them. But
like emulators.
Every time I've had to use a debug 360 or whatever.
Oh, the 360 is the worst.
I've had to fuck it. I've had to phone someone. And one time, I had to. We had to get like the firmware update we needed off another publication.
yes, that is true.
because
Ubisoft fucked up again.
Because it was quicker. Like, because it was quicker than going through Microsoft to fucking get it. Because you can't just download it, apparently.
Yeah.
Back to Bloodborne briefly, I wanted to ask you another question, Brett.
Yep.
One thing I saw this morning was that another publication had said that they'd stuck 4 hours solid into it.
4 hours?
Sorry, 4 days.
Oh, right.
4 days. Bit
4
different.
solid hours.
Yeah. 4 solid days. And had barely scratched the surface. I think that was the words. But I saw you finish the game within about 30 hours.
Yeah, I finished the game in 30 hours.
I saw the credits rolling.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, that was...
So how much more surface is there to be scratching once you've seen the credits?
I mean, it's hard to... I played it for 4 days, but that took 30 hours. You know what I mean? I finished it. I mean, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but...
Whoa.
It doesn't bloody want to be, Brit.
Careful
but in terms
now.
of this, because the game worlds are so complex, they're multi-layered, there's multiple routes, like I was saying before, there are things that you can find that you may not have seen the first time. As you go back through, you see alternate pathways. So that maybe that's what they're referring to, alternate
Does
endings.
that matter?
Things
Because
like
someone like me, I think, a game like this, I'm not sure I'd go... I might try New Game Plus, but I wouldn't go back to it thinking, oh, I wonder what was down underneath that path that I went down 15 hours in.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I'd be bothered to find out, really.
No, I don't think so, too, because one of the things I was talking to Burns about in terms of reviewing this game, and there was a point where on Saturday, I think it was, I genuinely was on the brink of a breakdown.
Oh, man,
So
these texts were amazing. Like you texted me, Dave. The complete opposite.
Yeah, I got
The bit where the police chief has his own secret art. Bit of a spoiler for Hardline.
Well, now it is, because you said what the game was. But I got genuinely and utterly lost. I was so broken because I played it for about 6 hours solid, and I was just completely I was texting Burns, I was texting Miller. Miller was texting other people playing the game just to see if they knew what to do, but no one got back to him. So eventually I was like, right, I'm going to go out for a little while. But the whole time I was out walking to try and clear my head, I was thinking about Bloodborne. I was like, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I started using the shining coins. So like dropping those around, thinking, right, I've gone all around this area, I've cleared it. So at the gateway that takes me here, I'm going to drop a coin, fucked it, done. And eventually I found the way out. And it's that, like I put in the review, the whole time you're in that area, you're going to be there's going to be times when you're so stressed and you think, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But as soon as you come away from it, all you're thinking about is, I need to go back. I need to do it. I need to fight. Because the worst thing you can do in a game like Bloodborne is leave when you're stuck. It's better to leave when you know you've got somewhere to go.
Yeah. Because,
you when you go back, you've got something to do. Whereas I came away.
JRPGs. Like,
exactly.
What to do.
Exactly.
Come back 18 months later.
Exactly.
Might as well start again.
Yeah, there is that thing. If you leave when you're at a breaking point, I did it with Final Fantasy VII all the time.
Bloodborne kind of is a JRPG in a way.
action RPG, innit?
Yeah. Yeah, but it is that definitely that thing. If you come away from the game, make sure you've got something, a point in the game where you can go when you come back. Don't leave when you're stuck, if possible, because it really does fuck with you.
It's a bit like as well when you're playing like an RPG and you can't just go to bed mid dungeon.
Yeah,
it's like you don't want to go back to the game and you're in the middle of a fucking dungeon.
Yeah,
like it's,
well, you shouldn't actually be going to bed immediately after playing video games or using any screens whatsoever, Jim. Should you? You should be taking time to decompress. Reading a book.
I genuinely text Miller at one
point and then
point
going to sleep
and said I will not eat until I beat this boss. And it took me another 45 minutes and I was fucking starving.
You fucked it.
Reading a book by David.
You were getting so angry when you were playing it though.
Oh,
we asked you, are you actually enjoying playing this? And I'm not sure we got a straight answer.
At the time, I probably wasn't, but as soon as I beat it, there's no feeling like it.
But,
you
were like, oh fuck this game! You were throwing the controller around. You're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then you put the credits roll. You're like, 10 out of 10. Amazing.
It's incredible.
Like,
really
well, maybe.
What is the Souls audience? Is it similar to the
masochists?
I was going to say, is it similar to sort of the audience for getting a gerbil put in your bum?
That's the thing. Do you like punishment in the bedroom?
No, and never ask me a question like that again on the podcast.
Do you know what I mean?
I get what you're implying, but
mate,
no.
This podcast just hit peak Dave.
Exactly. Fucked it. Right, what are these questions? Maybe these questions can shed more light onto the...
Oh, yes, questions.
Yeah, you said there were some Bloodborne ones as well,
because otherwise we'll answer all the questions and our lovely fans and listeners will get upset.
Right, listen. Ben Naylor asks Brett, do the environments ever start to feel samey? It doesn't look...
Whoa, this is technically a spoiler.
It doesn't look like there's as much variety as Dark Souls.
I can answer this without a spoiler because I was looking back at a lot of the old footage that's come out for Bloodborne, and one of the reasons why people think it looks samey is because all the footage that's come out is predominantly of the very first area that you see in Bloodborne.
Like Resi, innit? Resi 4.
Yeah.
Anytime you see a picture of that, it's either the castle or the fucking village.
Don't think that the environments are samey because it does really open up and it does there are a lot of different environments to get into. And also, as you progress through the game, the areas you're familiar with will change. So don't worry about them being same. That is something that is stronger in this game than Dark Souls.
You spoiled the ending for me, and I'm really annoyed.
Every time
How did I spoil the ending to you?
You said what it was.
Whoa.
I'm obviously not going to say what it was.
I will smash this room into
you
the
assumed I
fucking...
didn't care.
Into the
I
cosmos.
assumed Burns was the only one that cared.
No,
he wasn't in the room, so you said it.
But I did.
Yeah, I had to skulk out because I heard that Jim was caught in 1998 and I was trying to say,
without
get back there and
saying
save
what the
him.
ending, I'm not going to say what it is, obviously. But that itself has tempted me to try it.
Really?
I'm going to have to apologise to Obsidian.
For what?
For your candour in this.
They should apologise to me for fucking making me sit through Fallout New Vegas, which essentially was 59 hours of a loading screen of a roulette wheel going round and
Fallout
then a little
New
bit
Vegas
of walking.
Was fucking excellent, Burns.
Yeah.
So is South Park.
Yeah.
But yeah, the environments, don't worry, they're not samey.
Yeah.
They're very varied and fantastic, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
There you go, Ben Naylor.
In terms of the environments, every time I saw it, I thought, this just looks like fucking Whitechapel.
I have to say, when you were playing it, it didn't look as good as I thought it was going to look. Did the classic From Software thing of being...
To be fair, I was playing it on my monitor at my desk.
Should look better on that.
Yeah, should do.
On one of the videos we done, one of the comments is, "This is Bloodborne. It looks shit."
Well, I got in trouble with Dark Souls 2, right? They took all the lighting out that they'd shown off.
Yeah.
They took all the lighting out.
And I was
Just
worried
a
at
black
first that this
screen.
might be similar.
No, when I played it at home, the lighting effects are much more prominent than they are on that telly. So don't worry.
Really?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you plug something.
Big tasty.
Fucking
F.
Bilal SQ1. I don't know how to pronounce that. Asks Brett, "Is there any good online guide for Bloodborne?"
Yep, you can head over to VideoGamer and we will have guides up.
You've already put a beginner's guide up, right?
Yeah, I'll put a beginner's guide
And
up
class
and
guide.
a class guide, so you can look at those. And also, I'll be doing more as the days go by. I'll be putting them up as often as I can. I'm going back through the game again and I'll do walkthroughs and any guys that we can.
Right, no one cares.
Glutton for punishment. Wesley asks,
Glutton for punishment.
does Bloodborne border on the frustrating since, as of yet, there's no walkthroughs, etc., available online to help? You had this problem.
Yeah,
didn't
this
you?
this is like we were saying over the weekend. It was that it none of the combat was frustrating. It was the exploration that nearly broke me.
Yeah.
Why is this sorry to interrupt. Why is this even a question?
What?
You don't buy a game thinking, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to be frustrated by
I
that
can
without
understand
any
it.
walkthrough.
I
No,
can
but he
understand
means
it.
from a reviewer's perspective because when I get stuck, it's like I texted Jim at the weekend. I said, "This is like playing a JRPG in the '90s because you're the only one playing it."
Jim's just been playing another RPG from the
Burns! I swear to fuck, I will fucking throw you out of this room.
But yeah, it's because when you
I
get
will
stuck.
pull this podcast over.
But yeah, when you get stuck, you've got no one to ask. So that was something that because I've never had that
The
experience
internet
before.
wasn't very good then.
I had that with Ratchet and Clank.
What, when you reviewed it? Yeah.
I remember those little booklets that used to come in the front of magazines with like tips and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
It
good
used to-
freelance rates
it
on
used
those,
to
mate.
be like fucking gold dust back
Yeah.
in the day.
Do you remember bloody Tom reviewing Lego Batman 3 and he couldn't get past like the first level? Or was it the second level?
I don't remember. It was that sewage bit, wasn't
Yeah.
it? And it threw us all off eventually. But you realised you had to hit something.
I think
and
that was the
it.
thing though. Like we spoke to a couple of people and they were
And a
like,
few
did
people
you
got
get stuck at that bit?
Yeah.
It is an absolute fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you're doing like an adventure game as well, and obviously you're playing it pre-release, and there's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing to turn to whatsoever. You're like,
Silent Hill shit.
I
Yeah.
need to find a fucking thing. I'm missing something, and you don't have like. And eventually, if you were playing, if you're playing a point and click or whatever, and on any normal day, you would eventually just go, right, I'm just going to Google it. 'Cause
Exactly.
Fuck it, I need to get past this bit.
Yeah.
You don't even have that option.
Nope.
It
Yeah, but
is-
you could email the developers or tweet them or something.
I did that with Lords
can
of
do.
the Fallen.
I mean, you couldn't in Pillars of
Takes
Eternity
ages,
because
though.
Twitter didn't exist then.
With Lords of the Fallen, I did have to speak to the developers about one boss.
This is class
Although,
A trolling.
I swear to God, though, honestly, the life of somebody who plays video games for a living is so hard. You don't
This is what you worry about, isn't it?
Actually, we got a comment recently about you.
Yeah. I
Dave was moaning about how hard a week it had been on the live
for
stream.
personal reasons and professional reasons, but
You can have a bad week, Dave.
It was a long week, right?
Yeah.
It really was.
Everyone's entitled to
And
a bad
someone
week.
was like, "What? Playing video games for a living?" And it's like that's not.
all you do is play video games
It's
all
not,
week.
that isn't the extent of it.
But there is that-
It's actually not for you because you do news.
The
and
only
stuff.
time I ever play video games at work is when I'm doing it on a video. And if you think that constitutes a whole week's work, then blimey, I want to work where you're working.
But yeah, it's life is hard. Anyway, I'm sure there was another question for you as well, Brett.
I got a question for you, Brett.
I think it was like, where'd you buy your trousers?
Am
and
I
some
going to
shit.
be that guy who buys Bloodborne on release day out of pure hype and then goes to CEX the next day?
Probably.
You
Take
buy
half
on
my
release
money
day
back.
because
You
you
buy
buy
everything.
everything. See, one voice. Yeah, you buy everything on release day.
See, I've got Borderlands on order at the moment, and I don't know
Why?
if I should get
I'm excited for Borderlands as well.
I keep calling it Dark Souls. Don't know if I should
Yeah.
get Bloodborne instead.
You'll
But
get both.
Dark Souls is out next week.
Exactly. I know there's a lot
I
of good
feel
games.
like that is totally the wrong time, but at the same time,
Xbox,
maybe
innit?
Xbox owners
Dave,
who are
I
like,
swear
I
to
want to
fuck,
go.
you would buy a shit sandwich out of McDonald's if they'd done a press release for
Well,
it.
okay, it would be
If it was a day one pre-order
Big
bonus.
tasty.
But yeah, it's hard because if you're talking about you, then
You know what I like.
self-service.
Going back to what we were saying about the bedroom.
Yeah,
The ladies.
but I don't know, Dave. I really don't. I know what you mean because this has a lot of hype behind it, so it won't just be Souls fans picking it up. But time will tell. I don't know
I
if
get the
they'll
impression
warm
that-
to it because it's a weird position because Demon Souls was that one where it flew under the radar for a long while and then it got hyped for it and people picked up.
I honestly can't predict how well it's going to sell because the first thing that jumps into my mind is that it's going to sell amazingly because all
Yeah.
you see online is talk about how excited people are.
But then
for
that
it.
is from
It is
people.
probably
but-
the biggest PS4 exclusive.
But I
to
don't
date,
think
right?
it's a
Yeah.
mainstream
Oh, yeah.
game.
Problem is, you're looking in the places where
In
people
fact, I'd
like
probably
those.
say
I
something like The
reckon-
Order was more mainstream.
I
like
reckon
Bloodborne.
Yeah.
I reckon this is going to do better than the previous Souls games.
I think it will do.
Yeah, but I reckon you're looking in places where the Souls fans will be drawn to. If you was looking, like you say, if you look more mainstream, then you get a better idea.
I think this is going to be From Software's different class, and like all the games, you know, up until then have been like, you know, his and hers and whatever. I'm talking about pulp albums. That's the metaphor.
Don't know what you're on about.
You know, where like I reckon because everyone,
Back to the 90s, Jim.
everyone who isn't in the know thinks that Pulp's career starts with fucking Common People, when actually they were knocking about when the Smiths were. And I think this is going to be
like Beck
Bloodborne's
as well at the minute.
Yeah, this is going to be This is going to be From Software's Disco 2000 moment. I bet you any money. Anyway,
do you remember when they made Ninja Blade?
we're knocking on a bit now.
Was that
Do you
from?
remember probably do some.
Do you remember when they made fucking 75 Armored Core games and all of them were dog shit? Every
Did one of those
single
come
one.
with a desk thing where you actually
was
had
Steel
levers
Battalion.
and stuff? Oh, still
Come on,
Battalion.
Brett.
I wasn't sure.
What's up next?
What?
What are we talking
Jim,
about?
I'm waiting on you, Jim.
I don't know. Right, I'm sorting out my fucking papers, and you guys are carrying on like a bunch of fucking.
We was filling
Why are
time
the
while you sorting out your
papers here?
papers.
Exactly.
Right, we're on to questions.
Yep.
Not all the questions we got, of course, were for Brett.
Oh, can I just quickly say?
Oh my days, Dave. Is it about Big Tasty?
No, I played a bit more Ollie Ollie 2 last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Total shite.
Really?
Well, this is what I was going to say. It's all right, but I don't understand how it won BAFTA for sports game.
It didn't.
I thought it did.
That's all the first one did. Was it 2?
Well, one of them won it, right?
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's the same series. So.
And I don't
enjoy
get
what
it.
I'm doing. Like Miller made the really good point last week that you
Well,
don't
you're always-
enjoy the payoff of what you're doing.
controls.
Yeah.
You feel like you're always, tackling the controls.
Yeah. It's why I love Tony Hawk's a
Some
lot
of the
more.
levels, they feel a bit cheap. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I just agree with you. Yeah. It's that
I've
sense
not
of
played it.
No payoff.
There's not much
Played
to it.
I'd rather have one of those little tech decks.
Fingerboards, yeah.
Oh, yes. Do you remember those?
I'd
They
rather
were
do
great.
that.
They were
If I was
amazing.
going to play a skateboarding game on my Vita that looked like it was from the fucking 90s, I would rather
It was just a top-down view of a thingy deck, a finger deck.
Don't get me wrong, it's
I'd rather
good.
play fucking Thrasher, Scale Destroy.
It's good, but I don't know if it's worthy of quite the level of praise that it's.
No, it could
it's
be
got.
amazing. I've not played it. I'm just being a
Right,
dick.
I'm going to talk about Pillars of Eternity again.
Let's get
Fuck
these
me,
questions.
what's
Sorry,
going
I
on,
keep
Jim?
interrupting. I keep interrupting. I need to be quiet.
one thing I didn't actually mention about Pillars of Eternity, which I wanted to, but because I getting fucking interrupted, I didn't manage to get to it.
Yeah.
Does it work on the Spectrum?
Right,
Dave, don't you start.
Pillars of Eternity as well doesn't have any. I think it might have one. It doesn't have any like cutscenes or anything. Actually,
right.
no, it doesn't have any cutscenes at all.
Have you
Games
installed the
didn't-
tape properly?
It's really, really good, right? Because what they've done, they obviously don't have like the massive budget to do big fucking cinematic cutscenes or whatever, as you would expect from this type of game. Even Baldur's Gate had fucking CGI cutscenes.
Does it do
did.
the shadow?
It did, I remember.
Does it do Shadowrun
Yeah.
Returns type stuff then, where it's just a still image and then you've got dialogue going on the bottom?
Sort of, yeah, but they do it as like a sort of choose your own adventure type thing.
Oh,
so,
okay,
So
yeah,
you've
yeah,
got you've got what they call scripted scenes. I mean,
Right.
obviously the whole fucking game's scripted, but
Yeah.
But so what their equivalent of a cutscene is like this. It's like you know illustrated, but so you throw the grapple, give it a tug, blah 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 blah. All these really descriptive writing and everything.
Wow.
What do you do? Do you do you do X? Do you do Y? One of the first instances of it is right at the start of the game. There's this big event that happens that kicks the sort of adventure off and everything, and everyone's running away from this sort of magical storm that's killing things, right? And you're scrambling up you're in the game and basically you're told, right, fucking get up here. So you go up there and then it goes
That's in the text. Fucking go.
And the first time it does this, this choose your own adventure stuff, it just pops up and it's like, you see that there's a wounded guy behind you. You've got a couple of options, and they change depending on like your character build and stuff. So you can like, so the wounded guy has been grabbed by the ankle by one of the bandits that's half dead that you've just had a fight with. So you can throw your weapon,
Right.
which will obviously affect you later on in the game.
Yeah.
You can try and pick up a rock and throw it. You can try and go back to help them, and like you got all these little choices that have differing outcomes or whatever. And I thought it was a really lovely way to get around the fact that obviously they don't really have the budget for any sort of lavish cutscenes.
Yeah.
But also works out a little bit better because they give you they have to
You can
in the
influence
bits
them.
where they're like, right, stop the game, we need to tell you a bit of story.
Yeah.
but they're still keeping you involved.
I was about to
so
say,
I
yeah,
really
yeah.
like it. I think it's very smart. I think it's a very wonderful game, Burns. Anyway, that's all.
I never said it wasn't.
Didn't the other RPG you reviewed last year do that?
You are.
The one you loved at the beginning of the year.
Wasteland. Was that it?
From Spiders.
I didn't like Wasteland 2 at all.
Oh, didn't you? Oh,
No,
sorry.
no. You know the one I'm thinking of.
Bloodborne?
Nah.
Not Bloodborne. What am I talking about? Bound by Flame.
Yeah.
That it didn't do that at all, Dave.
You passionately hated Bound by Flame, if I remember rightly.
Bound by Flame was such a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Fucking dog shit.
You shouldn't be that mean about games, Jim.
I know.
A lot of hard work goes into making games.
I would be if I had worked on Bound by Flame, I would be fucking ashamed of myself.
Me.
Nice.
Questions immediately.
Questions immediately.
Bound by shame.
I'm sorry the Pillars of Eternity chat has been broken up.
I'm sure it's a fine game. It's just that Stephen doesn't care
there's
about
stuff
it.
I want to say about it. Anyway, right, questions.
I'll play and we'll do a chat, but Jim.
Yeah, let's do
No,
it.
I'll play it tonight,
Right.
Jim.
Zillergut asks, what game speaks to the what game speaks most to the dark, empty void that is Burns' soul other than Kane and Lynch 2?
Pillars of Eternity.
Pillars of Eternity. Because it's a game for fucking boring old wanks to pretend they like. There you go.
I'm not a boring old wank.
You're not
I'm the
making
same
it.
age as you.
Burns, you're not making out of this room.
No, I actually meant myself. But the
No.
fact you projected that onto yourself, Jim, worries me. No, what
Right.
games do I really like? Pez. Just went past my 90th hour on Pez and PC. It's not even that good.
I thought the PC version was a lot worse than the PS4 version.
But my PS4 was at my house in Cambridgeshire.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, well...
Can't track your stats. You can track your hours on PS4.
Yeah, 90 now. But I've done well on that game. I've done well.
My PS4's in my other house. Listen to this cunt.
Yeah.
Anyway.
PS4's in another castle. Well, you wanted to know where... You wanted an explanation. There it is, you cunt. Fuck me. Right, next.
Ross Benz asks, what's the best game to play when you're drunk?
Guitar Hero.
Pillars of Eternity.
That's a good call, yeah. Any game like that, yeah.
Pez also.
SingStar, actually.
Yeah.
I had a couple of drunk nights on SingStar.
Yeah, Rock Band, SingStar.
Sonic 06. Because
Sports
then you never
games.
know what's a bug and what's not. You're too pissed to
Just
tell.
like the dev team.
As long as it doesn't require, other than the music games, because you play them with a group, anything that doesn't require split-second reactions or any level of good timing or anything like that.
Track and field.
Track and field, yeah. Yeah, those sort of games.
Those are ski
Gang
sound, I think.
Beast is probably brilliant as well,
Yes,
I'd imagine.
yeah, Gang
Craig Kirby asks, who stole the Office copy of GTA 5?
Yeah, this is doing my fucking...
And,
Yeah, we don't
and
know.
Dave's retail copy of Watch Dogs.
Because I
That was
swear-
Burns.
I
And my
swear-
Blu-ray copy of The Notebook.
That
I
was...
swear
Oh,
to
wait.
fuck. I
You know
swear
that
to
was.
God, I've seen that copy of GTA 5 just knocking about the studio for weeks and then it disappeared.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And now it's gone.
So I reckon it's in one of your houses, Burns.
it's in the other house, in the other PS4.
Peter McAllister asks, do you think the Nintendo NX will be a handheld console hybrid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, so...
Next.
NXT.
Right. William Reed asks, has anyone been playing GTA 5 recently? Ho, ho, ho. James O'Butler, which Ninja Turtle do you most identify with and why? Fuck off. Ryan Archer asks, do you think the NX will be Nintendo's last home console?
No.
Probably not.
No, okay. Richard asks, Twitch founder thinks that consoles will need to have 2-year upgrade cycle in future. What do you guys think?
I agree to an extent. I don't know why.
We've already sort of seen that with Nintendo's 3DS refresh, haven't we? It's a new sort of a...
It's different with handheld, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but they haven't really done that before.
Do they mean spec upgrades or the classic sort of slim revision?
I think probably...
I'd imagine talking specs.
Yeah.
I said this from the beginning that I think they should, the console manufacturers should move into more of an Apple type model where the new Xbox, say, comes out every couple of years and it's backwards compatible with the previous earlier games in that series.
Yeah.
And I don't see why they shouldn't do that, really. I mean, I don't know what's stopping them other than the fact that
Problem is
it always
development
works
cycles.
the way it has.
But development cycles of games are longer than 2 years. Most of the good big games.
What's the
I wouldn't
difference?
say
What
good.
difference does it
Can
make?
you imagine...
Because then the problem with games at the minute, like a lot of games that come out is that they're being built for multiple console generations, and because I know what you mean, because of the gap between those two at the minute, the argument is that it's being held back on the new stuff. If they do that across 3 different platforms, 4 even, if there's like an 8-year
The difference
thing.
now, though, I think, compared to the olden days, is that, and maybe this doesn't apply to Microsoft, I'm not entirely sure, but I don't get the impression that they're lost leaders like they used to be, the consoles. I think they're making profit off of the actual hardware,
Right,
which they didn't used to do. And so, even
with the price cuts now, though, that they've had to, where they started and
it's
where
only
they
really
are.
Microsoft that's drastically cut
That's
it
what I'm
down.
talking about.
Because their machine's dog shit.
And they've cut out Connect as well from that as well, remember,
Yeah.
which that would have cost them quite a bit to
See,
throw
the
that
thing
in.
is, though,
But R&D costs as well,
you
they've
can
still got to
see
make
them,
up.
like, the only thing, how fragmented do they want the base to be, though?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
one issue with the Apple line now is that it started off and it was like, you know, even when the iPad came out, you basically had 3 devices that were in general use, and apps and stuff could be targeted to those 3 devices.
Yeah.
And now you've got various different like sizes of iPad, different sizes of iPhone, all running like different resolutions and on slightly different hardware and whatever. And it's becoming a bit of a nightmare to target your apps for everything, because obviously most of the apps are the same version for any model of phone, same version for any
but
model
I
of
guess
iPad.
the difference with new consoles is that they're closer to PC architecture.
They are.
This one,
So you can scale up and down
just
relatively
imagine-
easier,
yeah.
I guess, than you would have in
Maybe they
in
could
previous years.
I just
But
wonder
they could be
if it would
modular.
just add more bollock for the developers.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Imagine
No,
like
it
you're,
would,
you're
but-
a year and a half into a 2-year development or a 3-year development cycle, and then they say, "Oh, don't worry, we've got another."
And all of a sudden,
console."
they're
Let's
just like,
say-
oh, by the way, they've just released a machine that's
Exactly.
like, you know, half a gigahertz faster.
yeah,
it's
and
got
like
twice
you've been
the
really
RAM.
pushing the specs of that
Yeah.
console that
No,
you're
but let's-
building.
You'd be
Let's
under
say-
pressure to take advantage of a higher spec, but
Yeah.
you'd also be under the same pressure to make sure that the version for the console that most people have isn't
Exactly.
borked as a result.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
don't know if
surely
it's-
that's just how PC development works to a degree, though, isn't it?
Surely,
But-
surely the
PC
happy middle.
development just works on fucking black magic.
Yeah, but
Surely the
why
happy middle
couldn't
ground
they-
is just to shorten the life cycle of the current.
Let's say
you know.
Microsoft in 18 months' time goes, here's the Xbox 2. It plays all your it plays all
great
the
name.
Xbox One games, but Xbox 2 games will run even faster. So let's say Battlefield 5 comes out and it runs at 60 frames on Xbox 2 and only runs at 30 frames on Xbox One. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you
that's-
mean.
Yeah, pretty close anyway.
Silence burn.
What?
I mean,
No, I know what you mean, but that's why the modular thing that we spoke about last week could work a little bit better,
I
where they
think the
can
fact that the
gradually
consoles
improve.
have flown out as quickly as they have has brought back a bit of confidence into the manufacturers.
which
They're
means
like,
they'll hold back
actually-
new consoles.
No, not that they're holding back, that they might be tempted to actually release more of them. 'Cause
Really?
I thought
they'd just sit
I
on
got
these
the
ones.
impression that they thought
Nah,
the
get
console,
rid of them already, innit?
console market maybe wasn't as strong as it once was.
Yeah,
They were a bit-
that was a lot of the talk leading up to the release of these consoles, wasn't it? Was that the market's dead, these aren't gonna, and then suddenly they just flew.
I
off
don't
the
think
shelves.
they will do this Apple model. I think they'll stick to the whole. There'll be a slim Xbox, maybe.
Yeah.
At the end of this year, or
There's
maybe
a lot of room to
or the
slim
end
that
of next
down.
year,
Is there
but-
is there any gaming market that hasn't been pronounced fucking dead?
Yeah, that's true.
That is
Every-
still quite alive and kicking. How many times have we been told that PC gaming's dead? PC gaming's dead, tablet gaming's dead, mobile gaming's going to die.
Yeah.
Or
It's just a
everything's
fad.
dead apart from mobile gaming.
Yeah.
It's an ecosystem. Everything has a
exactly.
place. Anyway.
What they can't do is upgrade the current one with accessories, because that. No one will buy the accessories.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, that's true.
They
Needs to be
should
a new
get a
console.
CD drive add-on for your Xbox
Oh,
One.
they still think it's like nobody remembers the 32X. They still think that can happen.
I remember it. It was terrible.
It was.
Do you remember last year when we had the HD DVD versus Blu-ray battle for 2 weeks?
Last year.
Last gen.
Oh.
HD DVD versus
Do you remember?
Blu-ray.
Yeah. Do you remember like HMV had like the
There was
red?
big conspiracies over that, wasn't there?
They had the red bannered disc and then the
I-
blue
I-
ones.
I-
No, I
used-
do not know any shop called HMV.
I
Don't
used
know.
to work.
Don't know it. Do not know
I
it.
used to work with a boring prick who was obsessed with this kind of stuff.
What, the conspiracy theory?
Massive massive PlayStation fan. He used to go on about. He used to go on
HD
about
DVD was better.
Blu-ray versus HD DVD. He used to get invested in all this fucking shite, and you know.
did I.
And I used to be like, "Oh mate, like whatever wins, I'll get that." Like, I'm not-
Yeah.
I bought an
Who cares?
HD DVD drive for my Xbox 360 day one. Free copy of King Kong.
Oh, really?
Peter Jackson King
I've
Kong.
got-
$129.99.
I've got somebody's HD DVD drive for Xbox 360 in my house. I don't know whose it is because I never bought one, but it's ended up at my house.
Is Grand Theft Auto in it?
No,
All right. Just checking.
no, I think Blade Runner's in it.
Is it really?
Yeah. I remember this guy getting really excited.
Yeah. It's like a UMD
really
now.
excited about because this battle HD DVD versus Blu-ray, and he was on Team Blu-ray, of course, because he was a Sony fan. He was just like the most boring fucking cunt you've ever met.
I was a Sony fan.
And you ran over to me with a fucking paper one day, and he was just like, "The porn industry's come out for Blu-ray. It's one."
Well, fair enough.
I was like, "All right."
That was true, actually. That did happen.
Did it really?
That did happen. Yeah, but
Can you imagine that
Porn
meeting?
went for Blu-ray.
Can you imagine that meeting of, I don't know, porn industry execs? Like,
But that
right,
was it.
guys,
Wasn't that the deciding factor? I think.
What,
Wasn't
the
that
porn
one-
industry?
I think. 'Cause
Really?
I think it was spun as such. But I think it was probably more down to the fact that Blu-ray was built into.
Wasn't there a whole thing with
Yeah.
Panasonic or something? I can't remember now. There's kind of
Remember when Sony were claimed the credit for ushering in the DVD era because it was a standard feature on the
Yeah.
PS2? You know, it was
They
like-
probably did though, didn't
Remember
they?
when Sony was so desperate to sell 3D TVs that they've bundled 3D in with everything? Oh, playing Killzone 3 in
The entire
3D.
PlayStation 3 era is just a fucking wasteland.
Yeah.
Like, there's about 5 good games for it.
And they're all coming to PS4 anyway.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And the worst thing is when you
Erase it from history. That fucking terrible machine with its stupid fucking architecture that nobody could
It was
fucking work with.
guff. It was guff.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they unveiled the price and everyone just their stomach just sank a bit?
I think everyone remembers.
Yeah.
Didn't he say something like you have to work 2 jobs to afford a PS3?
Yeah. Crazy
Didn't they
Ken.
basically say
I love
we
Ken.
we
Did he
want-
actually
I love
on
Ken
stage?
as
He
well.
said
Didn't
that.
they say-
No, I don't know about
They
on stage.
wanted
Oh,
it to be a prestige item that people
Yeah.
would save money for. It's
Oh,
like,
no.
nobody's got any money.
Yeah.
It's 2006.
No, people
There
had
is
money
no
then.
money.
People had money then. It was.
Oh, it's just
I
before they had
fucking
that.
didn't.
Yeah, but people in general had money before 2008 when it went.
I found my order for my PS3 the other
That's
day.
the exact
'cause,
noise it made when it crashed.
Play.com is closing. It's becoming Rakuten. Like,
Yeah.
proper.
One of my friends
And
works for them.
And I
So-
bought my PlayStation 3 from Play, and I went through my order history. And there it was, PS3, 425 quid, with Genji, F1, and a copy of Click on
You
Blu-ray.
fucking arsehole, Dave.
Click's a terrible film as well. It's
I got
so
moaned
bad.
at when I bought my launch PS4. I think it was only, what was PS4 at launch? Like
350
325 or something?
350.
I'm sure I
No, it
only paid
wasn't.
like 325 or something.
It was
like that.
425.
No,
No, that was the
Xbox One,
Xbox with the
429.
Kinect.
Okay. It
No,
was
the-
definitely 425.
No, it's
the PS4
Xbox
was
One was
net-
429.
We're talking about PS3.
No, PS3
No,
is
PS3
Oh, sorry.
429.
PS3 launch
Yeah,
was 425.
yeah,
Oh,
no,
what-
PS4. yeah.
PS4, hang on. There's 3s and 4s.
PS3 launch.
I'm
was at
sure I
45.
paid about
Yeah, that's what he
325 for the launch PS4. I got moaned at from a family member because I wasn't spending it on a house, and I was like,
Did you get a house for
I was like,
325
what
quid?
fucking, where do you live that you can
Yeah.
buy a house for 325 quid?
Fucking hell.
Cambodia. There you go, Jim. You've just been mugged off.
The northern fucking wasteland of Scotland. That's where the family's from. Anyway, let's have a look. Howard David Burns after the twin torture of playing Battlefield Hardline and the Final Fantasy 15 demo.
Final Fantasy 15. I'm sorry. If you like that,
Total dog shit.
then you're a fucking.
You know
idiot.
what? My
There you
lady
go.
friend enjoyed the time she spent
I
with it.
don't give a shit,
She
though.
finished it. She got the summon at the end. I thought that looks
Yeah,
all
but
right.
she
actually.
enjoys the
Summon
time she
looks quite
spends
cool.
with you, Dave. Like,
Exactly. You know.
sorry,
That's
Dave.
it. Next question. Done.
I didn't mean that. I love you, Dave. I love spending time with you. Peter we've already done Peter McAllister. Oh yeah, he asked something else as well. Apparently, Peter
Peter
McAllister.
Double
McAllister.
dipping.
Peter McAllister is the father in Home Alone.
Peter
He's asking,
McAllister.
where's Kevin?
Do you think Remote Play /PS Plus makes up for the lack of exclusives on Vita? No. Tom Bickmore, Darkest Secrets. I think Deadly Premonition is a masterpiece. Has the team got any guilty pleasures?
Lots of people like Deadly
Killing them.
Premonition.
Yeah.
So right, I saw something on. Someone was talking about this. They're like, guilty pleasures don't exist.
I saw this.
It's just your taste.
Yeah.
You can't go. Yeah. Well, actually, I really like Britney Spears. It's just a guilty pleasure of mine. It's like, no, you just like it.
It's 'cause it's common convention, isn't
you may
it?
feel guilt about it, but don't frame it in a way of which, you know, it's some ironic fucking statement about your own ability to intellectualize fucking shit. You just like, I like Big Tasty. Big Tasty is not good. It's not good.
I like
So
Taylor Swift, and apparently I'm not allowed to do that because I'm a dad and I'm 30.
That's her market, isn't it?
But I was going to say, like,
Exactly.
if this was the 70s, she would be introduced as Dad's favourite Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Well, let's not talk about 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I like loads of stuff that's considered really bad, like
Pez.
being a
Kane and
video
Lynch
game,
too.
like being a video games journalist.
Yeah.
Like liking watches, that's
Yeah,
considered
yeah.
really bad.
Treating Nathan Barley as an instruction manual.
Yeah, but only for not to be Barley, to be Jonathan. Yeah,
Or the one who actually fucking knows what's going on.
exactly.
Hilarious and cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking Colonel Kurtz of Shoreditch. Dave, you like loads of shit, don't you?
I don't know if I like shit.
Dave,
but I play it.
bro, you
So-
bought Road to Hell. Ride to Hell. Ride to Hell.
I did. I bought Rogue Warrior.
He's on
as
the
well.
road to hell.
No, I fucking
And
love
Sonic
Rogue
06.
Warrior. It's shit.
What was
I
our
love
strap
it.
There
line
you
for
go.
Ride
That's
to
a guilty
Hell?
pleasure.
It's not
It got
guilty. I just
1% on
like
it.
it.
What was
It had
our-
1% on the front cover of Ride to Hell. It had a 1% thing on it.
As
didn't
its
it?
highest review
yeah.
score.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that was a review score.
What was our strapline for it?
What? Ride to Hell?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Why
'cause
would we have ever had
it surely should have been like paved with shit intentions.
Oh, it's garbage. Total garbage. So was Rogue Warrior, but I loved it. Like you.
I've said this on the podcast before, but Nightmare Mode Gore, Guy Woodward did a multi-part Let's Play of Ride to Hell, in which his mental state just gets worse and worse.
Is it on YouTube? Because I need.
It
to
is
see
on
it.
YouTube. Nightmare Mode Go is the channel.
He's a
and
bloody good guy. That guy. I like him a lot.
I like Guy Woodward a lot as well.
If Rogue Warrior 2 ain't announced at E3, I'm going to be very sad.
Mate, the Killinate is getting announced at E3.
The Killinator.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I'm working on a video game. Yeah.
Oh, you're announcing it now.
Yeah. It's called The Killinator.
Doing the
and
EA
let me
move.
tell you, I'm gonna fucking. I've gone Ted Cruz here.
It's already got a 10.
Yeah. Well, I won't be
Conflict of
reviewing
interest, but fuck it.
it. I won't be reviewing it. You will be, Brett. I'll be subbing it.
We need someone who doesn't know you personally. And we can give it a 10.
Well,
That second sentence was meant to be in your head, wasn't it?
That's a bit of a dig, that was.
assassinated. No. Carry on.
Right, Flo, guy called Flo asks,
Tori Andre.
why is Miller so shit at From Software games? Can you make him play Armored Core to confirm?
No, because Armored Core is guff. It just is.
He just doesn't play
What
them,
else did they
so
do?
he doesn't put the time in.
What?
What else
Ninja-
did they do?
Ninja
They did
Blade,
Ninja Blade,
right?
yeah. I quite enjoyed Ninja Blade, even though it was a bit guff.
It was just
That's
bonkers,
probably
wasn't
another
it?
of those
Do you
guilty
find
pleasures.
it the irony in that when Ninja Blade came out, there was all this talk about it just being like a really shit
Ninja
Gaiden,
Yeah.
and now every time that a game that's not from software version of Souls game is like, oh,
Didn't
no,
you
it's-
catch a rocket that was fired out of a
You did.
helicopter
Yeah,
and
you did.
surfed
Yeah.
into something else?
It's
Yeah.
like Bayonetta 0.5. It's when you describe it.
No, it's rubs.
That's why I said 0.5.
Yeah, it kind of, yeah.
You know, just a bonkers thing with the Ninja Blade setup.
I'm
No,
looking up
that-
what else they
That's
did.
become
Gaiden.
like the standard games pattern now, isn't it? Everything's a shite Dark Souls. Like
Everything's got to be shite or good version
fucking
of something
Life
else.
is Strange is the Dark Souls of being a fucking antsy teenager.
Sorry, I can't say it, but I'm laughing at something.
Can't say what. What
They
game?
made lots of games. They've made many games. Too many to talk about here. Enchanted Arms.
Oh yeah, that was that Xbox 360 game. It came out
Yeah,
like,
RPG.
Oh, that
do
was
you remember?
fucking terrible.
What was that other one that you liked that we took? Lost Odyssey. It came around that
They
time.
didn't make
and
that,
Blue
though.
Dragon. No, but I mean, it came out around that time. There was that RPG push from Xbox. Do you remember
Yeah,
this? Because they
yeah.
weren't selling in Japan, so
Oh,
they
they
thought
had
let's put out a
that
shitload of
Blue
RPGs.
Dragon and all
Blue
that
Dragon,
Eternal
that.
Ring. Evergrace.
But yeah, there was that time.
They've made a load of shit, haven't they?
They was like, right, we've got to hit Japan, and then we'll put all these RPGs.
Enchanted Arms.
Enchanted Arms was so bad, so bad.
I just imagine a game where someone wakes up and their arms are completely fucked, and they're like, "Oh man!"
I'm pretty sure it was like
It
part
was
of the plot. It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, because on the
The
front
main
cover,
guy,
he had something on it. He had like a gauntlet.
his
on.
arm was literally fucking enchanted.
Yeah.
Oh,
That-
I
that's
thought
my-
you meant arms as in firearms.
No,
No,
his
his
arm,
arms.
his actual arm.
Fuck me.
They made that Kinect Steel Battalion as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the worst game I've ever
I remember that
played.
game. Panned.
Kingsfield, they did all those.
Oh, Kingsfield is the natural kind of precursor,
Yeah, well, loads of shite.
and then fucking 3 of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah, it's not a bad run, is it?
Not bad.
It's upwards. It's an upward turn.
It's all right.
Definitely upwards.
It's incredible, really.
Got a question here from @Dave. Will you spoon me? And she just says, "Can you fiddle my diddle?"
I mean,
Wait,
that's,
her Twitter handle is Dave. Will you spoon me?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not real, is it?
No, that is absolutely real. I'll show you.
Let's have a look.
Look. See? Mike Hayward asks, how much worse, this is the last question, by the way, because you know what, I'm fucking bored now. How much worse than Kane and Lynch 2 is Pillars of Eternity? Listen, Mike Hayward. Listen, Mike Hayward. Pillars of Eternity is a fantastic game. I love it very much.
No, I'm going to give it a go. I'd like to just...
Kane and Lynch 2 in comparison. I mean, Kane and Lynch 2 is just fucking... It's just Steve Burns bullshit. It's a terrible game. And he knows it as much as anyone else.
Obvious, Jim. Jim, look out the window. You're a 96 about to start.
You're going to give Pillars of Eternity a try.
Shall we give it a go together? And you...
That is...
I'll be like a time traveller from the future. And
you're going to wear Bon Bleu and some Lacoste.
And you'll be wearing...
Can we go film a bit outside when you arrive in the past and you fucking start bollock naked?
What you did? No, the camera, right?
You
The car
have to punch
arrives.
somebody for their clothes.
The camera pans down and you see a Reebok Classic hit the floor
Yes. And Jim, you'll
with
be
some
wearing...
white socks on.
You'll be wearing a grey England away jersey and listening to the Lightning Seeds.
You've got the Man United sharp, the felt top on.
Oh, mate, 100%. I've still got those, so I can be wearing it.
Yeah.
But no, you know what? I'm just...
So because it's London, you're like, I need your clothes, your flip-flops and your Segway.
But, you know, I
your
enjoy
attitude.
winding people up, and Pillars of Eternity obviously has its appeal, so I might give it a little go. But don't be offended if you've heard
Should we
this.
play it? Should we do a video
Don't be
on it?
offended.
I'd like
It's
to
just,
see this.
It's just the lols, you know?
Should we do a video on it today, Burns? Where I show you Pillars of Eternity.
Yes.
And you act like a total prick for 10 minutes.
What if I
Should we
really
do
like
that?
it? There have been a couple of games where I've just gone in thinking, you know what, and then you come out, like, oh, that was
Yeah,
actually
that
pretty
happened
good.
to you recently. I can't remember what the game was, though.
What was it where I was just like...
You
I love how
went
it's-
in saying this
I
is
love
going to be
how
terrible.
It's such a
You
rare
came out.
event. People are like, that happened recently.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
like the eclipse. Yeah, it's not going to be another one for 90 years.
I love that. People were like, yeah, there's not going to be another one. I like, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
There's been what, about 3 in my lifetime?
people
I didn't-
stand in front
I
of me
didn't
all
give
the
a fuck
time.
Before it
Exactly.
fucking thing goes in front of sun.
Yeah.
I don't even like the fucking sun. I tend to avoid it.
Exactly.
Anyway, so
Sorry, I'm just reading an article.
That's it.
Dave's reading a Polygon
Dave's
article.
fucked
on
up.
No, it's on the Daily Star, actually.
Oh,
Jesus
dear.
Christ.
Oh, no.
Daily Star.
Someone's got their foot stuck in something.
No,
or
it's a
someone.
Project Cars exclusive. This could be the greatest
In the
racing
Daily
sim
Star.
you've ever played.
I'm sure there was.
I don't believe it,
I'm sure.
because I have played it.
I'm sure there was a guy from the Star on one of the review events I was on last year, and obviously he was a nice guy and everything. I'm not gonna, but I thought it was fucking hilarious that basically he he did about like 4 hours on the game and then fucked off.
Oh, mainstream, though, isn't it?
and
Mainstream don't give a fuck, man.
Mainstream are amazing because it was proper, like, because the rest of us were playing this particular game in fucking 12-hour shifts.
Yeah, exactly.
This guy was in the pub in 12-hour shifts. And he's like, it's all right, innit? I'm off back to England now.
Ah, the good old days. The good
turned up in
old
chainmail.
days.
After having, like, just doing a couple of side objectives, and he was like, yeah, it's all right. You know?
Gonna go write my 20 words now.
Oh, a million names just popped into my head of people I've been to events with. But I'll keep them all to myself.
They're in the book.
Yeah, keep with the
Oh,
book
mate,
words.
the book, yeah. I've got a book coming out.
Strategy guide for the killer.
I've got a book where I'm, it's going to be billed as a strategy guide for Killer Neo. But then after 2 pages, it's just a list of people who've wronged me in the games industry and the various fucking monstrous criminal deceptions that they've engaged in, to quote Stu Campbell. So look out for that one.
Right. Okay, well, that's about all we've got time for.
Why?
Unless you give us money every month.
That is gross.
So, well, you know, it's the truth, unfortunately. We're not going to sugarcoat it. So, thank you very much for listening.
I want to say I love them all.
Yeah, we do love you all. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
Bye.